And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
Do you think it's like defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
That's about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk
seriously.
about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull away in the second half, Caitlin, in
We're
particular?
going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
What do you think, again, in the second?
What if we told you Caitlin Clark might walk away from the WNBA after just one season? Yep, pack it up, sink one last three, and call it quits. Between blind referees acting like circus performers and Marina Mabrey tossing fouls like dodge, it's no wonder Caitlin has had enough. Is this still the League of Dreams, or has it become a reality show gone completely rogue? Grab your popcorn, because if this rumor is true, the WNBA is about to lose its biggest star faster than a ref can miss a foul.
NBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had one a season. Caitlin Clark is... when Caitlin Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these. And y'all can't get a girl her roses. Now, I don't like the fact that she be getting woke because she don't want all these lesbians to be mad at it. At the end of the day, is the woman putting in the work, she's putting in the work.
It's official. Fans are done watching Caitlin Clark play the role of sacrificial lamb for a league that can't decide if it wants to grow or gatekeep. For the second season in a row, she's been cast as the lead character in a drama that still expects her to pass the ball, smile for the camera, sell tickets, take the hits, and thank her haters. But this time, the frustration has boiled over into fury. The Protect Caitlin movement has evolved from a few online memes into an all-out emotional custody battle pitting the people who love her against a league that treats her like a chew toy.
This is all going according to plan. This is ideal. Caitlin Clark is holding up her end by being awesome and by being a trash-talking jerk on the court. Love it. Her teammates are holding up their end by having her back. The other players in the league are holding up their end by not liking her. Perfect. Couldn't have written a better script. Caitlin is talking trash to this girl. This girl's hard fouling her. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6, she's like, I will F you guys up. All of it's great, and Caitlin's a killer. 10 out of 10.
Let's start with the obvious. Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA even enters the conversation beyond Tuesday night. Twitter debates and grainy high school highlight reels. Ratings are up, jersey sales have exploded, and arenas are sold out. In cities that didn't even know they had a team, she's the walking, talking, three-point shooting lifeline of this league. And how does the WNBA respond? By hitting her with shady ref calls, cold shoulders from teammates, and more flying elbows than a WWE Royal Rumble.
Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point and say, Caitlin, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA just to embarrass this Angel Reese girl that Jameel Hill just said she could go down as a Michael Jordan of WNBA.
Remember when people said she was being welcomed into the league like every other rookie? Sure, if by welcomed you mean getting mugged at mid-court while referees whistle, Dixie, and look the other way like they just lost their glasses. In a Looney Tunes cartoon, Caitlin doesn't need a welcome party. She needs a security detail and a chiropractor. And then there's Marina Mabrey, who delivered a late-game shove like she was trying out for a linebacker spot. The foul was so brutal, the NBA probably tried to send her a contract out of sheer confusion. But of course, Caitlin pops right back up, because at this point, getting hit is just part of her pregame routine. Stretch, shoot, dodge a flying elbow. Rinse, repeat. What's truly bonkers is that every time Caitlin so much as breathes too hard near a veteran, she's called entitled. When she takes a hard foul, it's just part of the game. When she doesn't take it personally, she's accused of being distant. She could rescue a puppy at halftime and still get criticized for not passing it to a teammate. Meanwhile, the fans are out here running digital CPR on the league every time someone clocks Caitlin like it's amateur night at Fight Club rewinding, breaking down the tape frame by frame like it's the Zapruder film, and screaming into the void. How? Is that not a flagrant?
I will say this, when Caitlin Clark was out, they lost 55% of their viewership. So, basically, Caitlin Clark is paying all their salaries.
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can hate her as much as you want, but she's brought in millions of fucking dollars. So you should be kissing her ass.
And that kind of defeated the purpose of Angel Reese's argument of she's like, hey, it's not just Caitlin Clark that is bringing all the viewership to the WNBA. It's like, well, it definitely is. It's like it kind of proved that with the viewership rating being down that she significantly increases viewership with
They try so hard to compare her to Caitlin Clark. They try.
Refs stay silent. The league yells louder about dress code than player safety, and the whole ecosystem feels like it's lost its grip. At this point, fans aren't just asking if Caitlin Clark should stay there, begging her to leave. Imagine her signing a shoe deal, joining a broadcast team, or taking her talents to Europe, where basketball is still just basketball, not some high-stakes game of how much abuse can one woman take before she snaps. Overseas, she'd be paid, protected, and probably greeted at the airport with flowers, not flying elbows. Let's be real, the WNBA is running a Caitlin Clark content farm and feeding her the same slop every week: bad calls, unnecessary drama, and zero support. The fans see it, the media sees it. Even the people who claim not to like her still check the schedule to see when she's playing. Love or hate her, she's the whole show. But no one wants to watch the main character get sabotaged every episode. Brought more to this league in 2 seasons than some franchises have in 2 decades, yet she's treated like a guest at her own party. Even the promos feel awkward. Come watch Caitlin Clark. And the others, like Beyoncé. And the rest of the league is a very confused Destiny's Child. No shade, just facts.
Beaver and Son hold a brawl and a basketball game breaks out. This was something. Caitlin Clark, without question, gets raked across the face. I think she gets poked in the eye, but it's difficult to tell.
If you're the Indiana Fever, you cannot stand by and let that happen. They need to make it clear to the officials. If you're going to let this happen, then we're going to stand up for our player and make a mess of the game, and you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So you need to stand up for this. You need to do something about this.
You've just learned with definitive data and beyond question that Caitlin Clark controls more than half the audience for the entire WNBA.
Let's not forget the constant gaslighting. It's not that bad. She's being dramatic. She needs to earn her stripes. Really? Because the last time we checked, she's earned more stripes than a zebra in a barcode factory. This is a player averaging 25 points, 8 assists, and 12 microaggressions a night, and doing it with a smile. What more does she have to do? Levitate. Fans aren't stupid. They see the double standard. They see how the league bends over backward for some and casually shoves others under the bus. They see the forced storylines, the past interviews, the locker room politics, and they're tired. Tired of watching Caitlin fight for space on a team she built. Tired of watching her get snubbed in all-star voting like it's some middle school popularity contest. Tired of pretending this is okay, that if she leaves after this season, it won't be because she couldn't hack it. It'll be because she's smart enough to recognize when she's being played. And let's be honest, leaving might be the biggest power move in the league's history. The very moment Caitlin walks away, the WNBA will be forced to confront a quiet new reality. No more packed arenas, no more record-breaking streams, no more casual fans tuning in just to see what she does next.
We're expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the W.
And what happens then? They'll trot out a few promotional bobbleheads, slap a 2-for-1 ticket deal on the website, paint some inspirational quotes on the court, and pray people forget. Spoiler alert, they won't. The moment Caitlin Clark walks out, the WNBA goes right back to being a trivia question. Hey, remember that league that had that superstar for a hot minute? Whatever happened to them? And don't even start with the she needs to stay and tough it out crowd. She's already toughed it out through media backlash, on-court assaults, referees with oatmeal for eyes, and opponents more interested in stopping her rise than winning actual games. At some point, toughness isn't the answer anymore. Self is. Meanwhile, how is the league not cashing in on this moment? Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation star, relatable, marketable, and somehow still humble after being treated like a human piñata. You'd think they'd be rolling out red carpets, locking down endorsements, and launching marketing campaigns that don't look like they were photoshopped in 2003. But no, just more shade, more cheap shots, and more missed opportunities. Fans have had enough. They're not just watching the games anymore, they're watching out for her. They're posting the clips, calling out the league, and doing PR like unpaid interns in the Caitlin Clark department. And if she chooses to walk after this season, she won't be going alone. She'll be taking millions of loyal viewers with her, the kind who buy tickets, stream every game, wear the merch, and scream every time she touches the ball.
I am sick and tired of the way they are treating my girl, Caitlin Clark. I am here to propose a solution. I think they need an enforcer. You know, someone who comes off the bench to kind of lay the smackdown on an opposing team member. I want to get the word out to the Indiana Fever that I am available. I'm ready to identify as whatever I need to in order to get the job. They need someone like me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of any 6-foot-tall lesbian. I work out. Now, I have a couple of real good go-to moves in my bag of tricks.
If the WNBA wants to keep Caitlin Clark, it better start acting like it, because right now, it's giving ungrateful roommate energy. Meanwhile, the fans, they're ready to pack her bags, drive her to the airport, and cheer as she boards a plane to a place that actually respects greatness. In a league starving for attention, Caitlin was the feast. But if all she's getting in return is crumbs and chaos, don't be shocked when she decides she's had her fill. And just when you think it can't get any more absurd, here comes the cherry on top of this flaming hot mess. The ESPN think pieces. You've got commentators bending over backwards, sideways, and upside down trying to justify why Caitlin getting shoved like she owed Marina Mabrey lunch money was somehow her own fault. Yes, really, because apparently talking a little trash in a professional sports league is now grounds for getting thrown across the court like a gym towel. Never mind the actual shove. Never mind that Caitlin didn't retaliate, didn't throw a punch, didn't even flinch. She just walked it off like the queen of composure she is, stuck to basketball, and kept her head in the game. Meanwhile, ESPN analysts break out their detective caps like they've cracked the Da Vinci Code, claiming that one smirk after hitting a deep three means she brought it on herself, like she somehow asked to be body slammed between possessions.
Lexi Holdown gets it. Sheldon's face. Caitlin Clark hits the deck. Sheldon and Cunningham are getting it. Caitlin Clark with a few words with JC Sheldon.
Here's a wild idea. Maybe, just maybe, talking trash is part of the game. Newsflash. This is sports, not Sunday brunch. If you're not chirping, you're not competing. Michael Jordan did it. Kobe lived for it. Larry Bird practically invented psychological warfare. But Caitlin Clark, the moment she talks a little smack, suddenly, it's an open invitation for players to forget basketball and start channeling their inner MMA fighter. Even rival players, some of whom would love nothing more than to shut her down on the court, have spoken out and said, yeah, that shove was out of pocket. These aren't her teammates. They aren't her fans. They're her competitors. They've gone head-to-head with her and still understand the difference between hard-nosed basketball and straight-up thuggery. Meanwhile, half the analysts being paid to pretend they've ever touched a basketball can't seem to figure it out. Let's be honest. If Caitlin had even thought about responding with a shove of her own, it would be plastered across every sports channel, every news site, and probably recreated in a Lifetime special called Out of Control Rookie. Finally, snaps, but she didn't. She kept it clean. She kept it classy. She didn't make it personal, didn't fall for the bait. And still, they find a way to blame her for getting pushed. It's like blaming your mailbox for getting hit by a reckless driver. Well, it was standing a little too confidently on the curb.
Caitlin Clark has decided to quit the WNBA and move on and go play over in Europe. I do not blame her. I applaud it. I say, I believe you could create your own league, okay? You could be the fucking player that created NBA.
The mental gymnastics at play here could win Olympic gold. She's too confident, they say. She plays with an attitude. Yeah, so does every top-tier athlete in the history of sports. That's what makes them elite. But Caitlin's confidence, somehow that's inflammatory. Somehow that's a problem. Because in this twisted version of the WNBA, she's expected to take the hits, take the blame, and take a vow of silence, preferably all at once. It's almost impressive how reliably the blame shifts her way, like some invisible committee sits around every night, inventing new ways to reinterpret reality. Marina Mabrey delivers a full-body shove. Caitlin stays composed. Suddenly, she's the villain. What's next? Someone elbows her in the face, and ESPN runs a segment called, Did Caitlin Lean Into It? You can almost hear them spitballing. The next hot take was her posture too aggressive. Did her shoelaces send the wrong message? Meanwhile, Mabrie's out here getting more protection than a Fabergé egg, people bending over backward to justify her behavior like she's some misunderstood street poet, and not a grown adult who just decked a fellow player. And it's not just the analysts. It's the tone of it all. The passive-aggressive headlines, the lukewarm commentary, the PR-polished talking points that read like they were crafted by someone who once glanced at a basketball, screamed, and decided to make it their career.
Get your opinion, because it's been a minute on this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark stuff that's been going on. Brittany Griner a couple of weeks ago in a video says trash effing white girl when she was playing Caitlin Clark. What's your just kind of 30,000-foot view of this?
There is not an organization more dedicated and committed to self-imploding than the WNBA. The WNBA was like handed the golden egg that is Caitlin Clark. Yeah. And they have done everything to just self-destruct. Yeah. Whether it's these totally crazy like racial investigations that have been proven a hoax.
And you know what really has fans raging? It's that Caitlin Clark hasn't asked for special treatment. She didn't go on a press tour. She didn't cry foul. She didn't throw shade. She just plays. Game after game, hit after hit. She keeps showing up like the ultimate professional, while everyone else tries to twist the narrative into some soap opera where the villain is the woman, averaging 25 points a game and keeping the league afloat. Here's the simple truth. If Caitlin Clark had thrown that shove, she would have been ejected, suspended, and paraded through the media as everything wrong with the league. But because she took it and didn't react, somehow she still gets painted as the problem, because how dare she not smile more while getting manhandled at midcourt? Fans aren't dumb. They see it. They see the double standards stacking up like bricks in a bad reality show set. One set of rules for Caitlin, and another for everyone else. One for the star, bringing in the dollars, the viewers, the ratings, and still somehow not worth defending. And yet she keeps playing. She keeps showing up. It's enough to make your blood boil and your brain short circuit. The league has a generational talent on its hands. Someone who brings eyeballs, sells jerseys, and inspires the next crop of players. And they're treating her like she's a designated punching bag.
Caitlin Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever, and I swear I am not being hyperbolic. We were immediately gifted one of the greatest halves we have ever seen in the WNBA. And I say that with all context involved. This series from Caitlin Clark, the pull-up three here, and you are about to see back-to-back-to-back triples for Caitlin Clark in this game. I am not trying to erase the things we have seen from Maya Moore, from Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson's 53-point game, Stewie, Cynthia Cooper. Like, we have seen incredible halves of basketball, but you see Caitlin Clark coming off of that made three from the Liberty. Pull up, of course. She's making it in that moment.
And when she doesn't flinch, when she handles it with grace, they still try to paint her as the problem. At this point, they'd blame her for global warming if it got them 10 seconds of airtime. So when fans say they want her to leave the WNBA, it's not because they want her to win elsewhere. It's because they want her to survive. They want her somewhere she can thrive. Somewhere that respects what she brings to the game and doesn't twist every reaction into some morality. Play about knowing her place. Here's the real deal. Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the mirror, and some people just can't handle what they see.